book trying to be Crescent City. She's sort of in this like dungeony prison, like I want to say medieval times, but also not. But did it have to be this big? This mansion comes with its own secrets. Sometimes you just want a very easy read. First impression I got of this book was, is this book trying to be Crescent City? And like, I want to say new twist, but also it's not really a new twist, is it? I say this because in the beginning of the book, we sort of get this description that, for me at least, and I may have just imagined it very wrongly, but the description for me was sort of like, this is a urban city, any major city. It's a city that you and I live in, sort of, unless it's a country city, in case it is not. Yeah. But then we sort of go, our main female character, what was her name? It was like Rave? I'm not sure. Raeve. Rave, it has to be Rave, right? Anyway, let's call her Rave. She gets, I guess, taken prisoner is the best way to say it, and she's sort of in this like dungeony prison, like I want to say medieval times, but also not, but that kind of vibe. And going from that like urbanish city to like the dungeons was weird, but it didn't end there. So after the dungeons, she's sort of taken away into a different kind of world altogether. I guess you could say they go traveling for a bit, and then she kind of runs away and ends up in like a craterish, I don't know, I'm thinking murderish town-ish. Townscape? What's the word? Village? I don't know. Basically, where there's these two dudes that are fighting to get the chance to impregnate her, and she like, I know, no. But to rewind back a bit, so from the dungeons, she's sort of like rescued by this dude called Khan, which to me became sort of like the Jason Momoa's character in Game of Thrones. To be fair, I've only seen like the first 5 or so episodes of Game of Thrones, but that's sort of the imagery I got from Khan. I don't know why. I honestly don't know how to explain this book, because every other chapter or so we get like this diary entry, and this diary entry is basically a person we know but we don't know yet. Or rather, it is, spoiler, let's just do spoiler. Yeah, spoiler. It is Rave, but in a different life. And Khan was kind of in love with this other girl in the diary entry, and he's kinda into Rave too. It's so confusing. And also not very confusing. I just don't know how to explain the book. Yeah. I don't know, but did it have to be this big? Did it have to be this chunky? I don't think so. How many pages? It's like almost 700 pages. 700 pages? Something like that. I get a family tree here, so I'm gonna go with 700 pages. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I guess there's some intriguing bits. I mean, there's dragons, and there's like, I don't know, the connection between the, I want to call them humans, but are they humans? I don't know. The people. and apparently there's like 3 kings or something, and one is more ruthless than the next one. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to explain this book. I don't even know if I liked it or not. I barely know how I got through this book. I did, however, get through this book. I don't know. I do like that it has maps, and it does have like glossaries and stuff, and although this is a diary entry, but the chapter headings and stuff, very nice, very nice. I don't know about this book. I'm gonna have to think about it. At this current moment in time, I don't feel intrigued enough to continue the series, and that's coming from me, who just reads even though I don't like it. And now I'm just like, I don't know. This book has made me go, I don't know. I don't know. So, Tread of Angels by Rebecca Roanhorse. High in the remote mountains, the town of Guisha is booming as prospectors from near and far come to mine the powerful new element, divinity. Divinity is the remains of the body of the rebel Abaddon, who fell to earth during Heaven's War, and it powers the world's most inventive and innovative technologies, ushering in a new age of progress. However, only the descendants of those who rebelled, called the Fallen, possesses the ability to see rich lodes of the precious element. That makes them a necessary evil among the good and righteous people called the elect, and Guisha, a town segregated by ancestry and class. Celeste and Mariel are 2 fallen sisters, bound by blood but raised in separate worlds. Celeste grew up with her father, passing in privileged elect society, while Mariel stayed with her mother in the fallen slums of Guisha. Upon her father's death, Celeste returns to Guisha and reunites with Mariel. Mariel is a great beauty with an angelic voice, and Celeste, racked with guilt for having left her sister behind, becomes her fiercest protector. When Mariel is accused of murdering a Virtue, a member of the powerful order of the Archangels that rule Guisha, Celeste must take on the role of devil's advocate and defend her sister in the secretive court of the Virtue. Celeste, aided by her ex-lover Abraxas, who was once one of the rebels' great generals, sets out to prove Mariel's innocence, but powerful forces among the Virtues and the elect mining barons don't want Celeste prying into their business, and Mariel has secrets of her own to protect. It all sounds very fascinating, and the novella starts off with a bang, and we're instantly sucked in and thinking this is interesting, this is going to be amazing. However, because it's a novella and not a novel, we get thrown with this info dump after info dump after info dump of information that, had this been a full-length novel, we would have gotten like in a normal way. We wouldn't have been slapped in the face by info dumps. And I feel like Rebecca having this phenomenal way of describing events and telling stories, I didn't feel like this was her best. I feel like this could have been amazing, and it's like she had to put all this information into a very tiny little box and make it a very short novella. So we get amazing beginning, and then it just kind of falls flat on your face because there just was not enough time to tell a full, lovely novel-length story. So sadly a bit disappointed. I still think it has potential though, or it would have had potential, because it's not going to be rewritten, is it? But yeah. Yeah, that was this book. Delicious Monsters by Liselle Sambury. So in this one we have 2 points of views. We have Daisy. Daisy, she sees dead people. Yes. And after having been dumped by her boyfriend and so on and so forth, she's kind of finished with life in the city. So when her mum inherits this secluded mansion, she jumps at the chance to go away from the city, out into secluded nature. But this mansion comes with its own secrets, and so does her mum. There's apparently secret from her mum's past that is kind of airing its ugly head when they get to this mansion, which they are intending to rent out as a B&B kind of a situation. Yes, lots of things happening in that time. And then, second point of view is a decade later, and then it is a girl called Brittany. Brittany, her mum is a very well-known best-selling author who just happens to have, in the past, visited this mansion and wrote a best-selling book about it, more or less. And Brittany is she's tired of living in her mum's shadow, but she's also she's trying to make it like on her own and stuff. She has her own web series called Haunted, surprise, in which she and her partner in crime goes around like haunted places and figures out the mystery of the place. And because she has this series, she figures let's go to this mansion that her mum visited and try to debunk everything that happened in the past. Like, what happened to that missing black girl? They're all black. More or less all of them are black, by the way. Not that this matters, but it kind of matters. Anyway. So yeah, Brittany goes to this mansion and starts to interrogate or question or, ask questions about what happened in the past. So we see some of the same characters a decade later and the whole, investigating thing. So we jump between the points of views, like a decade and past and present time, I suppose. So we see events unfolding, because not only is Brittany in the present investigating what happened 10 years earlier, but Daisy 10 years earlier is kind of investigating what happened to her mum in the past and her aunt and on all the things that may have happened in this mansion. Yeah, so many things happening, so many things. It's kind of a hard book to read. I really enjoyed it in a way, but it's at the same time it's kind of hard to read because of the subject matter. There's a lot of talk of SA, mostly off page. I mean, it's off page, but it's talked about. So yeah, that means it's off page. Anyway, I mean, it's a teen book, so you get the muted version of what an adult book would have given you, and I do prefer it that way. I don't really need to read word for word descriptions of everything that happens. Sometimes just alluding to the thing is enough. I do think it handles it in a way that's delicate, which makes it easy to read. I mean, I found it fascinating just because of the magical, fantastical elements of the supernatural bits. But yeah, it's a hard subject matter, so do bear that in mind. However, I do recommend reading it because it was very well written. Yes, so yes. Of Light and Shadow by Tanaz Bhathena. I'm guessing at the name here because I don't know. Anyway, so this is a story with a richly imagined world inspired by 17th century India, where two very different individuals find themselves caught up in conflict, magic and change. So we have Roshan. Don't go who is an orphan raised by a notorious bandit in the harsh badlands of the province of Javala. Don't come at me for these names here, okay? Now she is the leader of the Shadow Clan, farmers turned bandit, and they are fighting a corrupt governor who has robbed her people of land, dignity, and hope. And then we have Prince Navin, who is a privileged royal second in line for the throne, but is estranged and insecure. As who wouldn't be? He goes out on a reckless night out and is captured by Roshan's gang of bandits. What starts out as a hostage situation kind of becomes something more complex, both for Navin and for Roshan. As their world collides, alliances shift, magic stirs. Each of them must confront their assumption about power, loyalty, and justice. The novel features a strong romance thread, together with political intrigue, magic systems grounded in mythological influences, and a sense of societal upheaval. The dual perspective between Roshan and Navin works to highlight the different sides of the same conflict: the oppressed versus the privileged, the rebel versus the heir. The story gives that emotional and thematic depth. We have fast-paced action scenes, layered magic systems, and social and political stakes. The book offers a very satisfying standalone, that fantasy that's blended with romance and political thrillers. Man, it's very nicely done, is what I'm trying to say. This being a YA, some readers would definitely feel that it's very predictable in its plot and its pacing, and yeah, it is what it is. It's a YA fantasy standalone. You're gonna get a lot of predictability being YA, but I don't find that it's a drawback. Sometimes you just want a very easy read, and I feel like this is a very easy read, although you have dual perspectives that's kind of warring against each other, but at the same time giving the same thing. So I did very much enjoy this book. I will look into this author whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce again, but I will keep them in mind now. Yeah, it was an interesting take, so I'm happy to have read it. So yeah, thank you. Bye.